So in further news, GameInformer, the longest running gaming magazine in the United States, is now officially dead. The parent company, GameStop, decided to get rid of it and just shut it down. You might remember, for those that have been around for a long time, GameInformer was purchased by GameStop along with its previous owners, gaming retail competitor FuncoLand, in 2000, which, side note, I remember going and shopping and selling things and buying things at FuncoLand. FuncoLand was awesome, by the way, back in the day. So that's just a little bit of a nostalgia hit for me. But yeah, it began publishing like back in 1991. It was the last remaining physical gaming magazine that you could get. And staff at the magazine, which also publishes a website, had weekly podcasts. They had online video, documentaries, different talks with different game studios and developers, all that kinds of stuff. They were basically called into a meeting on Friday, and the GameStop's VP of HR just said, "Hey, we're shutting it down. You're all out of a job immediately." And they did. Now there is to be some type of severance terms. Don't know what that is or what that means. But if you just go on social media, X in particular, you can see all the names of people, both former and current, that were still part of GameInformer, just lamenting what was going on and talking about it. And the crazy thing is that they put out on GameInformer's X, they made a post that was just like a statement and a couple of images. If you went to their, and I think if you still go to their landing page, GameInformer.com, it's just that sentence. It honestly is not well written. It just seems like something that probably AI wrote. You all know how I feel about that. And so it just is a horrible look. And it's the fact that the website's just completely gone. I'm actually kind of shocked at the moment. The YouTube channel is still live and still has all of its content there. So that's like a silver lining, if you will. But all of the stuff on the website is just gone. Like, because they weren't given any like heads up. They couldn't like gather their things. I mean, that's proof of their work, you know?
It's a few years ago, Entertainment Weekly stopped their physical magazine. They were like, we're just going
they
digital.
Switched to digital.
And so it's weird that they were like, we're just shutting everything down. Like that was, it's kind of weird that they didn't try to, okay, we're going to stop the physical, but we're going to keep the online presence going. And, you know, maybe we can still survive that way. It's just funny that they just bailed and they were gone.
I think that could be a GameStop thing too, because they're just hey, we are bleeding money or whatever. And we got to cut something.
I'm not too shocked by that. Personally, now I agree with you that probably a way to have done it would have been remove the physical printing of magazines and only go to online of some sort.
Yeah, that's expensive.
Or keep the blogs and other things like that. But at the same time, I'm sure that decision would have been a decision that would have been need to be made like a year or two ago. And the fact that it wasn't makes it seem like they were maybe trying to continue it on, and it just didn't happen. So the sudden ending of it isn't super shocking to me because I don't feel like they were managing it well anyways, but it is shocking to me and sad that they would just wipe the history gone. Like that just doesn't, that's never made any sense to me. I mean, I was, those who have been listening to the podcast for a while now know that in 2019, I got laid off from a job that I've been at for years. But even they gave me access to all of my final video, not the projects and all those things, but I had a whole server where I had years worth of final videos that we archived there, and they gave me access to all of them so I could have something, then create a reel and then show proof of my work.
That's very cool.
All that kinds of stuff. That feels like the bare minimum that they should have been able to do for the video people, for the writers, for the other things. And while yes, there's probably cost involved with maintaining a website, I mean, let it go for another 6 months or 3 months or something, you know, sunset it, be like, we're shutting it down. And just like Xbox 360 did with their 360 store. And when they talked about the Forza Horizon, they're like, hey, in 6 months, this is going away. Like that feels like the way to do it. I mean, I understand maybe you can't even afford the cost to keep it online, but you can afford to keep it a little bit. I mean, you just save yourself a bunch of payroll dollars. You know, that's the part that feels really, really crummy about it. And then, so I saw today as well, some former employee was able to log in to the X account, and I don't know if they edited the prior post or they posted a new one and just said like, hey, this deserves a good farewell or whatever, and wrote it. And then GameStop or somebody with Game Informer just completely wiped the X account. There's nothing there. It exists. The handle's still there, but it's completely wiped. There's nothing for its history. There's nothing. It's just gone.
That's weird.
That all is just
very weird.
I mean, GameStop has had a lot of issues for a long time. Their current CEO is a little eccentric and weird. So it's not, I hate saying it that way. It's not surprising just in the fact that I feel like they've made so many poor decisions. It's like another poor decisions. That's the part, or that's the part that's not exciting or not, surprising. But it's super unfortunate and it's just terrible stuff.
Especially since it doesn't cost them anything to have those posts on X.
Yeah.
And so to just wipe everything and get rid of their entire history of everything they've done, that just is so weird to me. It's
the one thing that gives me a little bit of hope that at the very least the YouTube channel will be left alone for a while is because in theory that can make them money. If there's getting views and getting ad revenue out of that, they can have some stream of income from that. So I'm hoping, but there were a couple in particular, of course they were really old, but there were a couple of like Metal Gear Solid related videos that I had seen from a long time ago. And when they used to have the Game Informer podcasts, they would do video versions of it and stuff. And there was a whole like retrospective on Metal Gear Solid. I actually went to it today and I downloaded it. I was like, I'm going to keep this.
Did you really?
Yeah, because it might go away. I have no idea what's going to happen. It's like, I'm not going to repost it anywhere. I just want to be able to watch it and listen to it. And it's like, it was one of my favorite episodes of the Game Informer podcast. So I definitely wanted to have that lying around where I could just open a folder and like, I want to watch that hour-long podcast again or something.
So what's funny is that whenever I do the new releases, I go to Game Informer because they have it, all broken down by month and they have all the dates and stuff. And when I went there, I got I'll read it real quick. I got this screen and it has a collage of different Game Informer magazine covers. And it says the final level, farewell from Game Informer. It says, after 33 thrilling years of bringing you the latest news, reviews, and insights from the ever evolving world of gaming, it is with a heavy heart that we announce the closure of Game Informer. From the early days of pixelated adventures to today's immersive virtual realms, we've been honored to share this incredible journey with you, our loyal readers. While our presses may stop, the passion for gaming that we've cultivated together will continue to live on. Thank you for being part of our epic quest, and may your own gaming adventures never end. Just like yesterday or even a few days ago when I was looking on the new releases, it was still there, and then it's just boop, goes right up. And they basically just pulled the plug. So it's weird. It's really weird.
Yeah.